Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. Sorry for the delay before the start. My sincere apologies. I had some technical issues, and I had to navigate it. And the most difficult aspect of the whole thing is that I work alone, so that didn't help matters. But that is, by the way, the good thing is that I am here, and we'll still have Blue Morning Show as usual. I hope everyone is doing well. Let's get into it. Yes, Blue Morning to you all, and again, more importantly, my apologies for starting that's almost an hour late at 39. Again, I work alone, so it was difficult to navigate the issue I had. So I sincerely do apologize. And first, I'd like to say again, a Blue Morning to you all. I hope everybody's doing well. I had Steve in the house. Just to clarify, I was playing Devil's Advocate yesterday. Ricketts, okay. I have the Ricketts kidnapped Coachella. Oh, Stam, I didn't know you liked me that much to care. I was just kidding. But thank you very much for asking. What happened in Vegas? Yeah, he stays in Vegas, so I'm never going to tell you the stories. I'm not going to tell you everything that happened today, but maybe I will. Two of the Ricketts were in London yesterday to meet our board members. Left for the baseball team first match of the season. And is he out on a protest? No, I'm not. Can you stop joking about LSU? Did he do anything wrong to you? I am surprised how this is allowed. Why beating is ongoing. I think this time they structured it. They made it in a way that anybody who wants to meet with the club could do so. Any of the groups could do so. But then again, it doesn't make sense. That is just what we call medicine after death in Nigeria. They're probably trying to, cancel out the mistake that Bruce Buck made by arranging a meeting with Paul Carneville and the Ricketts family. 1 second, let me see. And he's saying he's protesting outside the Chicago Cubs ground. Yep. Yeah, and I'm back again in a heartbeat. They're all allowed to have meeting prior to our second meeting. Now, Mikhail, no conspiracy. Yep, none at all. Yeah, I said that before. They're allowed to. I need a sleep. I suspect coach has slept. No, that's not the case. Too many alarms in the house for that to happen also. Plus, my wife will wake you up. Maybe as meeting the Ricketts. Okay, I'm going to jump all these things. The Ricketts do not fear. Again, more importantly, I want to say Blue Morning to everybody. If you have your questions or concerns, I'll put them in the chat and I'll try the best I can to address them. This is when I joined. Blue Morning, you all. Blue Morning, Olugbenga, how are you, my nature brother? I hope you're well. I've asked LSU where's Coachella, and he believes Chris Bryant is responsible as part of a conspiracy. It is very possible, you never know. And maybe it is my ghost that's speaking here. And this is, Blue Morning to you, Chesfiola. Nice to see you here. And a Blue Morning and big up to my brother and friend, Ankit from Almighty Blues FC. If you haven't, please make sure to go check out his channel. Great channel, great content, and I know you'd love his content if you check him out. So with that, again, I'm going to repeat myself. If you have any questions or concerns, please do put them in the chat, and I'll try the best I can to address it. Also, I will put the link to the panel in the chat, so if you have time to join, I'd appreciate it if you can join me on the panel. I've been stressed enough. I need all the help that I could get right now. Let me see. I'm going to put the link in the chat, and let me know if there's any issue with the sound. It sounds like I'm hearing a whistle. I'm not sure. Maybe it's just me thinking that way because I'm stressed up. But anyway, link to the panel. All right, this is the link, peanut message. Okay, I've pinned the message. In case if you have time, please, I'd appreciate it if you can join me. That will go a long way because I'm stressed up already. Let's see if I have any other comments here to join. Big up, ladies and gentlemen. Chelsea fans are turning to the Ricketts. It seems that's the case. That is fine. Okay, thank you very much. Nice to hear that, brother. And this is Nick Blue and at least not me. Okay, thank you very much. It's good to know that the sound is okay. I was fearing that the whole thing is messed up, but that's fine. Good to know. Now I know we all be thinking, okay, why am I concerned that most Chelsea fans that the Ricketts don't care if Chelsea fans do not know if they start boycotting the club or boycotting matches should they emerge as the new owners of Chelsea Football Club. A few reasons are the obvious reasons I think that will happen. Let me see. Let me share this with you guys here. Now, this is a poll that I put out yesterday. Although we've one of the shows we discussed it here, where we asked people what they do should the Ricketts family emerge as the new owners of Chelsea Football Club. That actually caused some friction here on the show. That they nearly a fight, if you ask me. Some argued that they leave the club immediately. They stop supporting the club. And my friend and brother, I don't want to say the name again, said he will distance himself from the club gradually should that happen. A lot of quite few, and again, it became an issue. And then I argued that I would never leave the club if they emerge the new owners of Chelsea Football Club. But then again, we most of us have hoped that will not happen for obvious reasons because we have Marina, we have Bruce Buck, we have the other guys, and Petr Cech as part of the selection process. And also the argument that Roman would not leave the club in the hands of somebody who has such a dented history that could cost us that could, in the future, that Roman would look back and then the Chelsea fans will say to him, you caused us this problem. We're suffering because you sold us to these guys and you should have known. So for such reasons, we're hopeful that maybe they will not emerge the new owners of Chelsea Football Club, but you never know. Again, Snap made a statement yesterday saying, what if Roman wants the Ricketts to become the new owners of Chelsea Football Club for some personal reasons? You never know. And the truth is, yes, we don't know. And again, they are part of the final process. So technically, that's a chance of them becoming new owners of Chelsea Football Club. But that's by the way. So I'm going to also look at the comment again. Big up, my people. Chelsea victory today. Yes, we're hoping for a Chelsea victory today. We need all the victories, all the wins that we can get because that will go a long way for us as fans and also for the team. Also, we're going through a lot right now. So a win will do us a world of good. And this is my brother, CFC, Fahim, a great channel, great content, always objective, and that's why we're friends. So if you please find time, go check out his channel. And if you like what you see, do subscribe. And believe me, you will thank me later. So now looking at this tweet poll, it says, what would you do if the Ricketts become the new owners of Chelsea Football Club? And 1.5%. Only 1.5% said they'd quit. Quit, which includes, stop supporting the club, start buying merchandise from the stores or something like that. Maybe I should have added that as a separate option, but that's by the way. And then you have 31% say fight until they leave. and then you have a whopping 67.2% saying that they will do nothing. If that isn't concerning to you, you should be concerned. And Nick, first before I continue, I want to say good morning to you, Nick. How are you doing?
Yeah, okay, coach.
Yeah, I'm fine.
Yeah, I had
I'm fine. Yeah.
I had to come on because there's a lot to say today. Plus, it's the biggest game of the season so far. It's a massive game, and we have to
Mm-hmm.
talk about what's going on.
Yeah, we have to
For
talk
the
about what's
match,
going on. Also, we have a pre-game show before that game. But if there's a reason to talk about anything regarding the game before time, I think we should. Go ahead, Nick.
yeah, I'm not surprised what's going on because
Mm-hmm.
I could tell from Saturday the atmosphere, the people walking past us, they don't care. They don't care. and and we
Yeah.
still have a lot of racists in this club, and that's
Mm-hmm.
100% now. You can see from the votes they don't care.
Mm-hmm.
And
No, they don't.
why let me how to coach. Yeah, they don't
Mm-hmm.
care because what's coming out from the Ricketts. I was just reading now in the newspapers what they're saying, and
Mm-hmm.
they're saying, we're going to come, we're going to rebuild, but we're going to do it straight away. Straight away, they said. And we're going
Mm-hmm.
to keep, stay at Stamford Bridge, rebuild the bridge step by step with the fans still there. And we will
Mm-hmm.
carry on to put money into buying new players and winning trophies. They're
Mm-hmm.
promising everything what we want to hear. Even more now, they're promising more. And they go on to say today that they're very confident to win. They don't. They are much better than the other three bidders, and the other three haven't got a chance against them. That's what they've been saying.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a lot of things coming out. Uh, Me, I've done what I could. I still try to make a bigger protest. No one wants to listen. No one wants to do this protest, which we should. But by end of the week, though, we're going to see what the fans are feeling after all these meetings. We finish this week with the
Mm-hmm.
supporter groups. So let's see what the Chelsea Trust and the other groups say after this week. And if they don't want to protest and they want the
Yeah, I think.
Ricketts, yeah, we can't do nothing about it. I can't do nothing. One person can't do nothing. You know what I mean? And
Yeah,
yeah, it's very,
there's a saying. Go ahead, Nick.
it's just
Go,
too much now. It's getting to me a lot now because I'm really disappointed, like with the fans. Even from Saturday, after I saw what the mood was around the bridge and from the fans, then I could
mm-hmm.
tell they don't care. They want the Ricketts. Sad to say, sad to say, but most of the fan base here, I'm not saying all over the world, here in London especially, they want the Ricketts now, and that's a bad, very bad thing to say, but it's true.
Yeah, yeah. Again, for obvious reasons, I'm still hopeful that they will not emerge as the new owners of Chelsea Football Club. But again, it is becoming scary. Really, just look at it. Just
Can I
look at
just
the poll.
reply to just Viola, coach? Can I just reply to the queen of the channel?
Yeah, go
Yeah,
ahead.
I'll,
Yeah, go
I'll be
ahead.
going to the game. I'll be at the game, just Viola. I managed to get a ticket. My friends sent me a ticket only last night. So I paid a little bit more, but I'm going. It's a big game, big quarter final. I'll be there this time in a better position, not in the shed. I'll be in the West Stand, sitting down because it was too much for me standing up all from the morning to the game because I was standing up in the shed then on Saturday, so I'll be sitting down nicely in the West Stand, and I will
Hmm.
get that crowd going. The crowd will be up for it. I have no problem tonight with the crowd because it's guaranteed they're going to be going crazy because we want to win. But everything else with the Ricketts is very bad news, I'm afraid. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's very bad news. The fact is this. I suspected that, and then again, I got a very, very scary article from Mikhail on how I think. Let me just show the title of the article, and you could go read it if you want to. And that there's an aspect of this article that I want to read. By the way, the article is you can find it on it says deadspinner.com, the inside story of how the Ricketts family schemed and feuded their way to owning the Chicago Cubs. So this whole process of pushbacks and all the note to the Ricketts hashtag campaign online, it's not new to them. They've been there. They've navigated such a situation before, and thanks to Declan, who clamored it before, saying to them, this is not an issue. The pushback from the fans is not an issue. And if they eventually become the new owners, it's going to be really, really difficult to, do away with them. And we will get to that point. But right now, let's keep talking about this. If you're in the chat, do let us know whether you're concerned or not, because this, some will say the sample size of 68 votes. Here's what makes this thing dangerous. Nick Blue, are you listening to me? What makes it bad? Because when you're getting vote from people that you don't see their face, and there's no way to tell who voted, that's when you get the most correct answers. And in this case, these people, there's no way to tell who voted what, except for a few people who responded, like Mario Mohens, who says fight till they heading back to Chicago. That's the only reason why he probably voted fight until they leave. So the sample size is at 68 votes. We still have 6 days to go. 68 votes tells you that this is huge, because you don't know them. So they voted their heart. There's no way they're not looking at you, and you could say maybe they're afraid of what somebody will say, and they voted no, or voted the option or nothing, or quit supporting Chelsea Football Club. No, these are all anonymous votes, and that's what makes it even more scary, because these guys, you don't know them. Nick, your thoughts?
Yes, Coach, you hit it on the spot there. Yeah, of course. They don't, no one knows all these people who are voting for them. They don't come in. We know the ones we know is the ones against them. We know who Gem, Maltese, and the Blue Lounge. We know one of them, and we were there together Saturday. But the majority, I'm afraid to say, they're back in the Ricketts, and I know what Chelsea fans think as well, because I've been for so many years. Another reason they're going to back the Ricketts, because they don't want a Tottenham fan, and they don't want nothing to do with Liverpool people. So that's another reason as well. But there's plenty. The main reason, I think, is because they're promising now to start rebuilding straight away. They said as soon as we come in, we're doing it, we're planned already. They said they planned everything already. It's like they won. That's what they're saying, and the journalists are agreeing. So but the only thing is, I don't understand where Roman comes into this. I'm sure, he has to feel for the fans, and the only thing I understand now, if Roman does listen to the fans, he's going to see the majority want them. So where do we go? Yeah. We're going to, in the long run, if they do come in, which I still think they won't, I think Roman will do something. But if they do come in because of the fans, wanting them, I think, it would be good for 2-3 years, like I said, after we're going to see the decline of our club. And that's a guarantee. I don't trust them. Never will.
Yeah, it is a concerning situation. If the reasoning for those Chelsea fans who, as you've said, if their reasoning is because maybe the other two groups. One of them has a Tottenham fan. One of them has who you say is a Liverpool fan. Then what happens? What happens to the saying that the devil I know is better than the one I don't know? So again, I don't think it makes sense here. Something isn't quite right. Maybe Chelsea fans are as racist as accused. After all, because it just doesn't make sense. And he says, I think here in the United States, most of the fans that do not care are plastic fans. That's a possibility. And if we can refrain from using that term, plastic fans, it would be nice, because whoever supports Chelsea supports Chelsea. Great. Then chant and sing in support of the team. Nick, I think that's important for us. I think, Nick, probably you probably regretting right now that you even went to the stadium to protest. I think you're probably saying you should have prioritized supporting the boys against Brentford. Maybe that would have made a huge difference in their performance. Your thoughts?
Yeah, I was supporting the team. I always do. But I don't regret going to the protest. I'm proud to be one of the protesters. Very proud.
Mm-hmm.
Proud of those people, those 200 who were there. They made me very proud. And in the ground, I was backing our team. I always will back Chelsea Football Club. And even if whoever takes over, I'm support. My support for Chelsea doesn't change. It can't change, because I support the royal blue and white socks, and the Chelsea badge, and every single player who wears that shirt. Not the owners, whoever they might be. It was different with Roman because he was special, and we loved Roman because he was a true fan. But these people, they will never be like Roman. So, and it'd be hard to get rid of them. That's the problem. That's a big problem. And the other risk you said it might be racist and Liverpool fan, Tottenham fan. Yes, it is. It is mostly the racist fans we have, because there's a lot of them. There's thousands. I'm not saying all over the world, but mostly here. I'm afraid here in London we do have. They're still there, and they haven't gone. And it's a bit of everything. Bit of they don't want Tottenham fans, they don't want Liverpool fans, and they don't care if the Ricketts, because they're with them. They're racist like them, so that's why.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it is. It is really concerning, and the fact again. Here is the thing. We have. Let's look at it again, and let me just go through the chat, and then I'll have us look at this poll again, and then from the link that Mikhail sent me, there's one section that I want to read that confirms really they don't care that is. They don't fear the threat of boycotts from the fans. I think. We can already see that that's never going to be an issue. Losing just 1.4% is not a reason for them to say, okay, we're not going to buy this club. But the annoying aspect is those that says that they're not going to do nothing, hoping a 65.2%. We have a problem at hand. And Ray Allen says, could be rival fans. Even if rival fans voted, this is still huge. This is still a huge number, even if rival fans voted. But I don't think these are people that say they will do nothing. And only 33% say that's still concerned. Even if rival fans voted, it's nothing. So let's not console ourselves with that wishful thinking. Maybe the outcome of the poll is like this because rival fans have voted. And if you want to go vote, you can find it on Twitter. Go to Chelsea Perspective Twitter account. You'll find this, and then vote. But believe me, I don't think it is like this because the rival fans have voted. That is just us trying to find a way. That is just us Chelsea fans in denial, if you ask me. Action speaks louder than words. From what aspect are you talking about? That's what I want to know. And believe me, even the 1.4 that said they're not going to quit they're going to quit Chelsea Football Club should the Ricketts family emerge as the new owners of the club. Might not even do that. Because the fact is, if you followed a club for a long time, switching allegiance to another club isn't going to happen like the snap of a finger. It is something that over time, if you're really a fan, your heart and soul go into it. The bond is, undetachable, if you ask me. So it is pretty difficult to leave a club. Maybe if you started supporting the club like a few months ago or a few years ago, then it will be easy to do. But believe me, switching allegiance from one club to another isn't something that's easy to do if you've supported, if you've went, that has been through thick and thin with the club, even if it is losing a game, losing a competition, not just being there like years ago or something like that, but a bond that supporters have with the club isn't something that's easy, to just do away with and then start supporting another club. That hardly happens. Yes, a road to 2,000 subs. Yes, we're going there. We are really growing. And on that note, I say, please, if you haven't, do smash that like button. And also subscribe to the channel if you haven't. And more importantly, do not forget to click on the bell notification button so you don't miss anything. And let's go ahead. And Nick, I'll come back to you in a bit. We are getting there. Yes, we are getting there. This is just them saying hi. Please share and sub, introduce your friends to the channel. Please do that. That will go a long way for us. Big up. Let me see. This is Stav here saying, first of all, who are these plastic fans? Yeah, good question. I think we should refrain from calling our fellow supporters such names. I think it creates friction amongst us. It creates divisions amongst the fans group. Let me see if there's any other thing to go check Twitter. Says Ricketts family, because they have over 40 billion. That is concerning also. Talk about the phrase, sell your soul for money. I think if this is the case, which means what Chelsea fans are really doing, we're doing that. But I'm still, again, I'm going to repeat myself. I'm still hopeful that given that Marina, I'm not going to say Bruce Buck again because he's behaved in a manner that we have every right to question his integrity. We have every right to question whether we should trust him or not. But at least we have Bruce Buck, we have Marina, we have Petacek, and Marina, I believe, will be sure to properly inform Roman or properly educate Roman on the background of the Ricketts family. And Roman himself, like Max said when he came onto the channel, wouldn't want a situation whereby in the future Chelsea fans will look and say, you did this to us, you sold us to these people, even though I don't know, did you not hear about their background? Why did you sell us to them in the first place? So, Nick, I want to come to you before I continue reading the comments in the chat. Do you have hopes, at least looking at what Max from Broughton Baller said here, that Roman wouldn't want to sell us to anybody that would tarnish his image because his legacy is important. And if he does sell us to the Ricketts family, it will be pretty difficult for that is for his legacy not to be tarnished. Your thoughts?
Yeah, of course. What Max said is true. I believe it. If I didn't believe in Roman, I wouldn't have been there last Saturday. But what I'm worried about, what comes end of the week? What do the Chelsea supporter groups do? Do they tell us to go and come out and protest like we should? Do they agree with them? And Roman will look at the majority of the fans, what they want as well. He's not going to just go by our feelings, because if these supporter groups agree with them and they say give them a chance, Roman might. That's the only problem I have. But otherwise, I'm still confident Roman won't let this happen. I still have faith in him. Like I always did, always have.
Yeah. And then Stav also scared me yesterday when he says, "What if the Ricketts are the preferred, new owners by Roman Abramovich?" Which is also a possibility. But I think Roman would have to, look into it deeply. It doesn't matter how much of a shareholder they will be. I think the fact that they were the one fronting that mean they lead the consortium. I think that's a huge issue because really his legacy is at stake. Should they take over? Because they've proven, yeah, they started with the Chicago Cubs. They started very well, and then down the years, it has been they've had quite a lot of issue and quite a lot of falling out with the fans. But that's, by the way, I'll get to that part again. And if you're in the chat, let us know what you think about this poll. How concerned are you if that's the case? And staff says there are no Liverpool people. Broughton briefly worked as a chairman of Liverpool in a paid job. They are Chelsea fans. Keep to the facts. Yes, I think staff makes a perfect sense here. He says there are no Liverpool people. That Broughton worked briefly as Liverpool chairman. But then again, staff, that's how you want to put it. But Chelsea fans will see it otherwise because he worked for Liverpool. And when he worked for Liverpool, he wanted Liverpool to win. So, in other words, he's a Liverpool fan too. So again, you get the argument. So I don't blame any fan for seeing it from that perspective. But the fact that the fans are seeing that as an excuse not to support the Martin Broughton group is a big issue. So you'd rather us, be owned by people who has a racial discrimination past, who's treated their employees badly, who doesn't care what the fans think. So that's what's concerning to me right now. But again, you make a good point. Tobago says, yeah, please do hit the like button so that Google will push the stream to more people who are interested in such a discussion. And also, please don't forget to subscribe to the channel if you haven't. We are on our way to 2,000 subscribers, and I hope that will happen soon, and we can do that. Just Viola said, oh man, Richard Broughton was also British Airways chairman in addition to being a Liverpool fan. Can they get into their heads? Nick, can you answer this question from Just Viola?
Yeah. What you saying? You
want me to read it for you?
Yeah, I can see it. Yeah, I can just about see it. Yeah, you're saying that they will get it into their heads.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm not sure I understand the question very well. Maybe she needs to rephrase it a bit so that we can understand it better. But if you understand it, you go ahead and answer it.
Does she mean the fans get it into their heads? Oh, I think she means the fans get it into their heads. Is that what she means?
Yeah, that's a possibility, yeah.
Yeah, I'm not sure what she means by that. Can you write what you... just write a more clear comment, because are you talking about the? I think she's meaning that's what's getting into their heads because he was a Liverpool chairman.
Staff says I am not feeling well would jump up, but not being against the Ricketts does not make you racist. Pick your words carefully, Nick. Again, he has every right to express himself the way he did because he's not happy, and I'm not happy either. But I understand your point. It's important that we pick our points carefully, our words carefully, because language can, send a different message, while that's or send a different message or something that we do not mean. Again,
let me answer stuff. I didn't say that. There's racists in our club, and everyone knows that. So I'm not saying something not true. I'm not saying we're all kinds of racists, but there is a section who are, and you can't get away with that. And you know that stuff. You should know more when you was here going to Chelsea. You know what sort of fans we have.
Yeah, I understand. I think we're getting to get a good understanding of the type of fans we have. Most of them, all they care about is money. Fraser says Ricketts family gonna turn Chelsea into Southampton. that's a possibility. That is if after everything they emerge as the winners and they're profit focused, they will sell and sell and sell the heck out of our players and our academy players just for profit reasons. And that's even a more possible after spending billions, almost $1 billion, £1 billion to build a stadium and all the things, responsibilities that they've seen that then they will be undertaking, and that's probably why they've gone for more people. And again, I want to first of all say something I already said yesterday. Then I'll go back to the chat. I said these guys, they're very smart people. They did not become billionaires by a mistake. They're billionaires because they're very smart and they're business savvy. And again, what makes them even more dangerous is that they understand how politics work. And they're very good at PR. You could say they're very good at PR, public relations. And let me just phrase it like that. And they've been successful in silencing the Chelsea fans, in getting them to talk less about their past and talk more about the things they say they want to do. Talk more about the 8 points pledge. Talk more about the rebuild of the stadium. Now we're talking more about the fact that they've traveled to London and to meet with Chelsea Football Club. So I think they're business savvy one, and they're good at politics too, and they've been brilliant in making sure the pushback isn't an issue. So quickly, I want to again go to Sasuke Uchiha. Brother, I want to be honest with you. I love you. And I appreciate you donating to the channel, but you don't have to do that all the time. I know how much you love this channel, and I know how much you support this channel, especially since you've shown that since we've been monetized, and I couldn't have done that alone. It was because I'm able to do it because of people like you. So Sasuke Uchiha says, I have supported this club since 2001. If Chelsea allows a racist to own our club, I will not support Chelsea anymore. I won't watch football, period. I would blame the Premier League as well if this happens. And that brings to mind something I already said. I think don't put your hopes on the Premier League to reject the Ricketts family solemnly or for the reason that is given their past, given the racism role, or given the Islamophobia role, or given because of how they treat their employees. I don't see that happening. If the Premier League will reject him, it have to be something even more serious. This is serious, but to the Premier League, I don't think there will be grounds for rejecting the Ricketts family. And then, but I will take you back also for reasons I think it won't happen. But we have every right to, be concerned. One of the reasons it won't happen is that I still believe that Roman has the final say, and I still believe that Roman wouldn't want to leave Chelsea in the hands of people that will tarnish his legacy. And then a few years down the line, Chelsea fans will start saying, well, you signed off on it, so you let us fall into the hands of this guy. So I wouldn't be worried too much about it. But again, you are allowed to say what you're going to do if that happens eventually. Stav, I know you're not, feeling well, but I hope you get better soon. But welcome to the panel, Stav. How are you doing?
Well, I'm not feeling well, am I? I've just come on briefly, right?
Yeah. Big up to you, stuff.
Yeah, Nick, can you do me a favour, mate? Right?
Yeah.
Please stop saying that there's a bidder with a Liverpool fan. He's a Chelsea fan. He
Right.
worked as chairman of Liverpool. Yeah, but you're saying he's got Liverpool on. He's a professional.
Yeah.
Right?
Wait a minute, Stav. I'm just saying what Chelsea fans, they don't think like us. They think different.
Well, you don't have to. But you don't have to.
They don't
you don't have to project that, do you? You don't have to project that. Well, he's not a Liverpool fan. He's a Chelsea fan.
I'm just saying the reasons why that poll is like that. That's why.
No.
Yeah, I'm going to ask you this, Stav. I know Nick now understands what you mean, and it's important that we watch our the language we use when we talk about these guys, because language can send a different message. The slightest misinterpretation of what we say could cause a lot of friction or problems. So start you looking at the poll, and now it's gone up to 71%. 71% of votes, 71 votes, so to speak. It was 69 before. That means, which means 2 more people voted. So now we still have 7 days to go for this. Now we have, looking at it, it says, what would you do? I know we've answered this question, but I wanted to put it out there for the public, for those who may not, who might not have been part of the stream, to say something. What would you do if the Ricketts have become the new owners of Chelsea Football Club? And 1.4% say they'd quit. 33.8% says fight until they leave. And 64 point, I think that went up. It was less before. 64.8% say they will do nothing. Your thoughts, Steve?
Same as me, I'll do nothing. Right?
Yeah, but why is that?
Listen, right? I was racially abused from the age of 5, right? When I was born and raised in the UK, and I was racially abused from the age of 5. And I still get it occasionally, right? Somebody says your name and they tell you you're not British. I am a British citizen, right? I'm a British citizen and I'm a Cypriot citizen because I have dual nationality, right? And yes, there are some who won't accept you ever, right? But that's got nothing to do with my football club or the reason I support my football club, right? People have to start registering this, right? The Ricketts, whatever they did in the past, they can't do at Chelsea because they're not going to be the sole shareholders. They're not going to be the only ones who own that club. They're not governed. Calm down, right? They're not governed.
Yeah, I know you saw how I reacted to that.
Yeah, calm down.
But go ahead, Steph. Yeah, I'll calm down till you finish. Then I'll say what I want to say. Go ahead.
Yeah, you can say what you want to say when I finish. Yeah, that's fair, right? They're not governed by the same rules, right, in the Premier League that they are in America, right? They're not governed by the same rules in the UK via the racism, various racism groups involved in football now, right? So they're not going to be able to do half the things they did at Chicago, where I believe they're probably the sole shareholders and own the club themselves. Right, and the same thing occurs to Boehly, right? They won't be able to do the same either. And the same thing with Pagliuca. The Premier League is a totally different thing, right? A lot of people in the Premier League didn't want the Saudis at Newcastle. The only reason the Saudis got in at Newcastle is because the British government didn't do anything. And I've said 100 times why they didn't do anything, okay? Because they want the oil and make billions out of them. So it's not going to be the same. So if they take over, right, I'm still going to be a Chelsea football supporter. That's my club. I'm not going to walk away. I didn't start supporting them in 2001. Right? The football club's more than just a football club. It's part of your life. It's part of the fabric of your life. If you can walk away so easily, fine, walk away. We survived without a lot of these people long before 2001. Right? We nearly died more than once. And I'm not walking away from my club. I've faced racism. I told you what I thought the other day, right? If the Turk had won the club, right, I would still support Chelsea. And I've got a lot more reasons to not like Turks, right, than just racism, right, because I'm from Cyprus. So I'm not going to go through it all. If you want to know why, look up the history of Cyprus, 1974. Right? And I wasn't going to let him make me walk away from Chelsea either, right? I see the players cross the white line wearing blue shirts with the badge on. A lot of them are black, right? A lot of them are Muslims, right? And that's what I see. I just see blue shirts, right? And the players who represent my club, whether they're Brazilian, whether they're Chinese, whether they're French, German, whatever, right? I don't care. It's Chelsea Football Club. And you know, I understand why you've all got these issues, but it's not the same. It's not the same situation in England and in the Premier League. There are far too many anti-racist groups, right, involved in English football now, right? So I know what you're going to say. Anyway, right, Nick, slow down. Think before you say things. There is nobody involved with Liverpool, right? He worked for 6 months in a paid job, right? But he's Chelsea. Him and Seb Coe.
I know what you're saying. I'm
Nick,
just saying about the
please
poll.
don't. Yeah, but you don't need to say it on here, do you? You don't need to say it on here. You're projecting the image that there's somebody who's a Liverpool fan involved. You don't need to say it on here, right? You're projecting that same image. Well, just don't. What
was the point
again,
of protest?
Go ahead. Go ahead, Nick.
I'm going.
Okay, yeah, Stab, you go, because I know you're not doing well. Nick, go ahead, Nick. You were saying something.
Yep, I was saying, I understand what Stav's saying. In a way, he's right. But, the poll suggests, like we see, and I'm not saying, I'm not saying because he's a Liverpool fan or he was a chairman of Liverpool, he ain't going to back Chelsea. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that's what a lot of our fans are thinking. Because we have a lot of, young fans who, they just hear the words Liverpool or Tottenham and they think differently. They don't think like us. That's what I'm trying to tell Stav. I didn't say, all our fans are racist, but we do have racist fans, I'm afraid. You can't, lie about that.
Yeah, I think you make a good point there. There's no way to say we don't. The science, what we're seeing says otherwise. They could care less who they are. They could care less about their past as long as they have money. I think most people do care about care more about that is the fact that they have a group that's overall in total. I think they reaching around 60 billion pounds or dollars in terms of net worth. But that's, by the way, what I wanted to say to start, but I understand he's not feeling fine, is that the fact is this: we should, no matter what we decide to do, whether if we decide to stay or leave the club, should the Ricketts emerge as the owner of the football club, we must be first of all concerned. They're there. It doesn't matter how that is whether they're major shareholders or minority shareholders. It doesn't matter. They are the ones leading the group. And that's important. That's a PR nightmare. How do you explain that? How do you explain that Chelsea Football Club, whom DJ Sam the other day mentioned again, that we're still paying for racial discrimination issues we had in the past, and then we accept this guy? The fact that they are leading the group is a huge problem.
Yeah.
It is a huge issue.
Exactly. That's what even saying is different. Even in the different, different.
Yeah, even if
let
they
me just
are.
Say this.
Yeah, go ahead.
I understand what he's saying. Like me, I'm like him. We can never change our club. Doesn't matter who's the owner. Doesn't matter. It does matter, but we still be fans. But not everyone is like us, old fans. And the majority of Chelsea fans will still be Chelsea fans, like the poll says. There'll be a few, one or two, very few who change. Who won't accept this, and it'd be the mostly a lot of the Muslim majority. A lot of Muslim fans who haven't been supporting Chelsea for more than 2 or 3 years. I can understand them. I understand their point. But, anyone who supported the club before, from, say the 70s to now, you won't change nothing. But that's not the point we're trying to make. The point is, if they get in and, they make us a mid-table team after a few years, or even worse, relegation team, then they will realize, the majority of fans will realize there'll be a protesting to get them out. That's what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, but here again, I think it's important to say now, we've established that there's a possibility that they will emerge the winner. And also, we know now the fact is only 1.4% will quit. And to them, that's not the problem. They can deal with that. So our priority, the priority of every true Chelsea fan, is to keep pushing, keep clamoring it, keep saying it, you can protest these days digitally. And we've been doing that. The No to Ricketts campaign is still very much alive. But we can make it even more active if you participate from all you need is a cell phone. You sit in front of your computer, do more hashtags, push for it. And then maybe it will get serious, because I'm really not happy. And why I'm not happy is that the fact that the moment they released that 8-point pledge, I said it that could be a distraction, and it ended up being a distraction, even if it wasn't designed to be one. Because since the release of that pledge, since the talk of how they're gonna their plans for the stadium, and they've been consistently facilitating chains of events from the 8-point 8-point promises of pledges, if you want, to how they will redevelop the stadium. Today, now they are talking about the talk that is the reign now is that the fact that they're traveling to London to meet with Chelsea. So I think maybe even if the release of the 8-point pledge was a mistake, but they saw this distracted them a bit. Maybe we should keep facilitating chains of events, different topics that will distract them. And it's working. And I'm not happy that it's really working. We've talked less about their past, which is their racial, that's the Islamophobia coming from their father, the racial coming from one of their family members, how they treat their workers. We've talked less about them, how they're running their club poorly. We've talked less about that. To me, it's a super, super powerful strategy for them, and it's really working. So I'm concerned. But I want to read this comment from Sasika Uchiha also, and I'm not skipping anybody's comment. I think I'll try to get to them one by one. If you have a question, place it, and I'll get to it. Sasuke says here, not all people are the same stuff. Some people are very emotional. Some are not talking on behalf of others without walking in their shoes is unfair. I think, yeah, it makes sense. Here's the thing. I've told you what I would do, and I'm not judging anybody that says should the Ricketts emerge to new owners of Chelsea Football Club, that they will stop supporting the club. I am not against you, and I'm not going to preach, and I'm not going to preach otherwise. Because you know how that is, you know where the shoe pricks you, so you know how to deal with it best. You know how to deal with the situation so it suits your personality. Now, for me, let me explain something I've said before, how I would do it. Chelsea is our own. Chelsea doesn't belong to the Ricketts. All they are, it's just they are the owners. And without we, the fans, they are nothing. So now, given that Chelsea is my home, I see it that way. If a snake in this case, you know who I'm referring to as the snake, runs into my house. Yeah, at first I would see it. I would be surprised how possible is that to happen? How did that happen in the first place? But I will stabilize myself. And I will not leave the house and run away for the snake to become the new owner of the house. I will make sure, find a way to make the snake understand you're not welcome here. And eventually the snake will leave. Remember this, Ken Bates bought Chelsea from, I don't know who he bought Chelsea from, sold it to Roman Abramovich. Now
Brian
Roman
Mears.
is selling.
Yeah,
exactly.
Ken Bates bought it from Brian Mears, so yeah.
Exactly. So now Ken Bates sold to Roman Abramovich, and Roman Abramovich will now sell to someone else, and we're not sure because we're not certain it's going to be the Ricketts family, but we're just concerned. So now the Ricketts family also, if they eventually emerge as the new owners of the club, will sell it someday because they profit focus. Believe me, they probably will sell quicker than Roman did if they keep getting pushback from the clubs, because I don't think even if they become the owners and things start going downhill and a lot of stuff will change, I think even this will lead to such problem as Muslim players not wanting to join Chelsea Football Club, because it would take a whole lot of stuff to change that narrative. You get my point? So again, that is me. And I have no problem against anybody saying they will stop supporting Chelsea Football Club if the Ricketts emerge as the new owners of Chelsea Football Club. But do I think that they care about that? No. And we'll get to something else that I saw. And already this shows you that the fact that whopping 64% says they would do nothing means that they probably still buying the club's merchandise, still going to games if they can, if they have access. And again, that shows them, even those that says fight until they leave, how are they going to fight? I don't know, but they still be supporting the club one way or the other. To me, they will not be moved at all. So let me again read the comments of those. Those people that have skipped their comments. So read that of Sasuke Uchiha, who's been supporting with super chats, but I'll get to his other comments. Staff says we have a good squad, coach, and academy. You're not being a real, and it's a Ricketts, two T's. I'm not sure what you mean there about not being real. I have every right to express my concern because there's a lot more that, well, you know, there's the Ricketts becoming new owners of Chelsea Football Club has, more consequences than than we've talked about here, because again, it becomes a PR nightmare. And believe me, some sponsors will distance themselves, especially if there are pushbacks from the fan. And here it says, please guys, no hate speech. We're all one love to you all. Exactly, that's important. We all support Chelsea Football Club. It doesn't matter what anybody says, they will do. If the Ricketts emerge as the new owners of the club, again, we shouldn't judge anybody for how they decide to deal with the situation. I don't care about all baseball team and Ricketts won't be sole owners. I get that. Again, that's your argument. But the fact they'll still be part owners is still an issue for some people, and I don't blame anybody for such. Please allow me to take a sip of my coffee before I lose my voice. Now, he says, do you really love Chelsea or just because we're winning games? Again, that's a question, and I think it would not be right to judge people like that. Some people are deeply rooted, are deeply religious. I think that's the best way to phrase it. And if you insult their religion to any measure, I think some people don't take it lightly. You don't know why he's saying he's going to do that. I've faced a racial discrimination to a certain measure before, but still, that doesn't mean I'll stop supporting Chelsea should they happen. And I have my reasons, and that's because I deal with such situations that are differently than those that said that they will stop supporting the club. Sasuke, no, Steve, it's not about Chelsea, it's about racism. Thank you very much. So, again, people have personal reasons why they've decided that they're going to do this or do that, should that happen. Be good or bad, I will never quit Chelsea Football Club because it is my blood. That, again, that's you. Frankly, feel free in your choice. If you leave, we survive. Before many of you came along, that's another way to phrase it, but we don't want to make it a fight. We have to recognize that people deal with situations differently, and whatever choices they make, it's their own way of dealing with the situation. Nick, I will come to you in a bit. Says Uchiha, I am not supporting Ricketts, but if they win, I will have no choice. I love my club. Not all our fans will support our owners, but support the club. We love football. That's a better way to phrase it. Again, we must not judge anybody for their decision to stop supporting the club should that happen. I have faced a lot of racism in my day. I will not support a racist period. Again, That's you. We have to establish that. You can talk about Arsenal and United owners. He says, Fraser says, Barbara Charon, a part of Todd Boehly groups. Of course, the Chelsea women's team. Emma Hayes also deserves 5 stars for the way she handled herself on and off the pitch. Thank you for making that comment. Yes, just Viola said, yes, that's what I mean. Why can't the fans learn to prioritize racist and controversial people or an ex-Liverpool chairman? Again, it comes down to who you're talking to. We deal with things differently. Again, with you and I, we're not the same in terms of how we deal with things. We might have some stuff in common, but we differ quite a lot in some instances. For instance, I will never leave the club for anybody. I'll still continue supporting the club, but I'll find a way to join the campaign against those if they bring bad name to the club. I will fight until they leave, because the club existed before they came, and chances are they'll serve the club as soon as possible because they are profit focused, and pushback alone can get that to happen. You're not the only person on the planet to face. That's not a good way to respond to such a thing. Racism is a bad thing. It doesn't matter if he was the only person or not the only person to have faced a racism. I don't think this is a good response. I think we have to sympathize whoever that's gone through that. I don't want to talk about my own case. It's not the worst. And yeah, but we shouldn't be, referencing it that way. It just seems as if we could care less what that person went through. We have tried our best as fans, protesters, and others. What do we do if Ricketts take over? You, as a fan, want to abandon our club like that? Good question. I'm never going to abandon the club I love so much. Let me quickly again breeze through the chat. They're going to be the face of staffs. It can't exactly. That's my point. No matter how you twist it around, even if you change the name of the consortium to something that that's void of the names of any of the people that make up the group, we'll still know that the group is led by the Ricketts. It doesn't matter how much of a shit part of it they have. They are the face of the group. That's the fact. That's where I'm concerned. Ricketts family going to be the face. Matt Law said it. You don't need to hear from Matt Law to come to that conclusion. And Sasuke says, I think I've read this before, not all people are the same stuff. And again, that's a great comment. Isn't it more worrying that we don't know who is the rest of the Ricketts consortium is? They could have a worse skeleton in their closet. That's a possibility. We don't know everything yet until the whole thing is done and dusted, and then we get to learn more about how the process went down. And then again, something came to mind. What if the Ricketts decided from the onset that they want to remain anonymous? Believe me, it would be a serious trouble, because we wouldn't know anything about them until it's announced, okay, that these are the new owners of the Chelsea Football Club. Then we got to know, oh, these guys have a very, very disturbing past, and now they are the owners of Chelsea Football Club. So to some measure, I'm thanking God that they weren't anonymous, and then at least we know about them. And again, we should start pushing. We should continue fighting, make our voices heard that we don't want these guys as the new owners of the Chelsea Football Club. That will make an impact, that will reach the Chelsea board. And we can only hope that they will, educate a Roman on the background of these guys and why the fans are pushing back. When Chelsea turn into certainly in 5 years' time, you'll be pissed back again, and that's the truth. It says, Fraser, I watched Chelsea almost go down the third tire on the last day. Don't tell me what I would do exactly. That's it. Nobody, staff, I don't see anybody here that has said, staff, do this, don't do that. No, nobody tells you what to do. Whatever you do is your choice. And it's a free world. You choose what to do. You choose how you deal with the situation. And I don't think anybody here have said, staff, do this and do that, should that happen. So I don't know where that's coming from. If it happens, it will diminish us. and that is the purpose of it all. Exactly, it will diminish us fears of how that we start. They run the club the way they run the Cubs, and we start having issues. And the client mentioned today that the club is $1 billion in debt, and that could happen to us because these guys are, again, lots of concerns that workers could start. The Muslim contingents at our club may start to feel uncomfortable and may decide to leave the club. And if they leave the club, believe me, they're not going to leave without saying anything. They will say something, which in turn causes even more frictions at the club. Nick, I want to get your thoughts.
Yeah,
Nick, are you still there?
Yeah, can you hear me? Do you hear me? Can you hear me now?
Okay, I'll keep talking until Nick comes back. But then again, like I said, more will, it would degenerate into a whole lot of stuff. It would not just end. Those that will leave the club will leave, and believe me, the Muslim contingents at the club will not be comfortable. They will start feeling, betrayed. Some, if you ask me. And also, it will probably most likely degenerate into something more serious. Because if players do leave, because the Ricketts emerge as the new owners of Chelsea Football Club, and if eventually leads to players deciding to leave, it would degenerate into something even more serious, like new signings. Seeing it as an issue with the club. And if players do leave, they're not going to stop talking. And they have influence over some, Chelsea fans. And if they start speaking up, voicing their discontent of the Ricketts being the owners of Chelsea Football Club, that creates an even more problem. So it's not that simple. We must recognize that. First says, I didn't say what you would do. You said a Ricketts family wouldn't be shareholders, but they will be the face of the club. So it doesn't make any difference to what you say. So yeah, exactly. Nobody is telling you what to do. I said you'd be pissed off like other Chelsea fans when these Ricketts people will start doing what they did to Chicago Cubs. Of course, I know to the majority of Chelsea fans are racist. Nobody said majority fans are racist. I think what's his name? Nick was trying to make a point, and maybe it came across, but language he used, I think, wasn't the right language to use. He should word his sentences carefully to avoid being misinterpreted. And I think you've ironed that out when you went on the panel. Again, if you want to join the panel, again, the link to the panel is in the chat. You can hop in and express yourself. Yes, we have a racism in the fans, as Nick said. Racism is everywhere. And again, let's say this. Let's be straight up here. There are black people who are racist. There are white people who are racist. There are also people of all race. Racism isn't just against black people. We must establish that. That's why racism is everywhere. And like Bobby would say, racism is an institution. But then again, it's important to note that it is more against minorities such as black people. That's why whenever the term racism is used, the first thing that comes to mind is about black people, discrimination against black people. But in the case of Ricketts family, it's not just about black people. It's about what they said about the Asian people, what they said also about black people too. So it is just more than that. Yeah, every club has racists. That's the truth. It is everywhere. It is an institution, like Bobby would say. Phantom, I'm beginning to think you've got your Forum Jersey radio. Yeah, possibly. I'm not going to be surprised if that's the case. Other groups have to release their pledges soon. Then we might see swings. That's where I have a problem. If people release, if they release their pledges, and you swing, that means you never knew. You're not sure what you wanted in the first place. You're everywhere. You have maybe, what should I call it, identity crisis? I think that suits that situation, right? If you're not sure what you want by now, You're still waiting to see the pledges from other people before you make up your mind. Then you have serious identity issues. Mikhail, I have my fingers on the button now. Okay. They have already been to London, do not going to, and yet you're giving them a whole show. I am emotional in my love. We have to talk about his stuff. We don't have to stop talking about it because they've been to London and because they released a pledge. What else? If you you have every right to have, to put add another input. Now, yeah, we could deviate from the topic, but I haven't seen any. Everybody wants to talk about it. You have to. If you ask a question, we talk about it. It's not about me. This is a finite-driven show. Mikhail says, I think the bigger picture being missed here. Ricketts aren't even favorable in sporting terms. They are odds as Cubs owners shout for attention itself. They are known as having no sporting ambition. Exactly. So we need to talk about them, and then if we find a reason why we shouldn't be talking about them, then fine, just like Mikhail did. But we're concerned. Some people are even talking about how the whole process is rigged. Some people are even talking about the possibility they might be in cahoot, or how do you phrase it again, with Bruce Bock given his behavior the other day. Something like that. We need to talk about it. We can't just stop talking about it. Giving them a whole shoot doesn't mean I'm helping them. No, I'm really concerned the fact that the focus right now is that they've traveled to London, they've released a pledge, a set of pledges, and they've and they've released a statement on how their plans for the stadium is. So yeah, so to me, I think we don't have to stop talking about it. I'm just concerned that, we've been distracted by all the stuff that they are facilitating. But a good comment there, Mikhail. Nick, I'll come back to you. Do you have any issues with anybody? Because to me, I don't. People deal with things differently. Do you have any issues with people say that they're going to quit supporting the club if that happens? Does that make that person your enemy?
Hear me now? Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Go ahead.
Yeah, I had to change my phone somewhere, take it somewhere else. Yeah. Anyway, I don't have any issues with anyone. I have so many friends who are Muslim. Saturday I was with them. I was with Mo, Yunus, Jem. They're all Muslim people. I have no issue. Well, I know these people, you'll still be Chelsea fans. Even, they all said it. Doesn't matter if the Ricketts take over, they're still going to support the club. But it's like you said, if certain people don't want to support Chelsea because they have the religious issues, it's fine by me. I understand that. I understand them, and I have nothing against them.
That's how they want to deal with the situation. Exactly. Go ahead, Nick.
Yeah, exactly. It's up to them how they want to do. And if they want to go and protest, I'll be there with them, like I was Saturday. I'll be there with them to protest against the Ricketts. Like I've been doing all since sanctions on Roman has come. I've been doing that. I've been doing that every day. And I'll put, putting it on Twitter. How many times? How many? But the problem is the majority are turning. Our fan base is turning towards the Ricketts. That's what is disturbing for me now. You understand? I got nothing against the people that want to leave the club. It's up to them. It's up to you if you want to go see Chelsea play football. You want to watch them on TV, or you want to watch them from your country. That's your choice. Everyone has a choice.
Yeah.
Okay, personally, I don't have a choice because I was born blue. I'm Nick Blue, and I was born blue. And, from 1969 was my first game. 1969, I go further back than Staff. He goes back a bit, but I'll go even further. And I've seen he struggle. Most of my years, still up to now, it's been mostly a struggle. We had a great 20 years, but you haven't seen the last 40 years since Chelsea mid-table, trying to avoid relegation, going down nearly to the third tier of English football, and I've always been there at the club. If I take my briefcase out and show you all the programs, all the collections I have, you're gonna be amazed. You're gonna take me pictures of that. I have every single Chelsea game up to now, every program. They're antiques. We have the 1970 FA Cup final. We have the 1967 League Cup final. So 72. I have everything. And, I will never sell those programs. They're there for my grandchildren when I'm gone. But they're worth it. And, I have nothing against anyone. Everyone has to do what they think is right.
Yeah, and I want to take this opportunity also to thank everyone for their support. And but let me read this quickly. This Mikhail and Stav making fun of Phantom of Many Topics for his announcement that he's going to start supporting Fulham should the Ricketts emerge as the new owners of Chelsea Football Club. Mikhail, first of all, said that he probably has. He said he has his hands on the button, and Mikhail says, "Yeah, one touch purchase," and laughs. And Stav says, "But buy it now and wear it proudly." I think if we can joke about it like this, that's fine, again, because people have every right to deal with situations the way they want to deal with it. And again, I want to announce to the people here, if you haven't heard about it before, we started picking contestants for Roman Abramovich. What's it called again? Sorry, I just lost my thoughts. I lost it. I'll come back to that a bit, but I'll talk about it. We're picking a contestant for, let me just phrase it this way, for a Roman Abramovich tribute contest. We're going to pick 8 contests, and it will start as a quarterfinals, 4 eliminated, 4 to the semifinals, and then 2 to the finals, and the winner will go home with $150. But there are some rules you have to follow, so we'll pick one more contestant today. Yesterday, TC emerged as the first contestant. The rule is that you must be on camera to participate, because those in the chat need to see you presenting your tribute to Roman Abramovich, and also the judges here need to see your face, your expression while you present your tribute to Roman Abramovich. And if you make it to the final and win, you get $150. So I will talk more about that as the show progresses, and we will very soon do the pick for the day to pick the second contestant. So you want to be part of that because it's going to be good. And yes, thank you, Sasuke Uchiha. Keep saying it, and you don't even have to donate another $20. That's almost like $40 to their all donation already today. You don't have to, be spending all that to make that hard. Believe me, if I see it, I will probably highlight it because we don't want that to happen. But always good to see you. And of late, you're usually one of the first to arrive for the show. But of late, that hasn't happened. I hope everything is fine. And also on that note, I say, please, if you haven't, be sure to smash that like button. That will push the Google YouTube algorithm to push the stream to more people, and also subscribe to the channel if you haven't. We've gotten almost 10 subscribers today, but we can do more as we are on our way to 2K subscribers. I think we will get there as soon as possible. So please share the video, share the stream, tell more people about the Blue Morning Show and Chelsea Perspective. It is a fans-driven show. The show is driven by the conversations in the chat, questions in the chat, and inputs in the chat. Sasuke Uchiha, again, thank you for the donation. That means a lot to me. This says, I will come back after Ricketts. So there's a term that comes to mind, and I don't want to use that term again against you. Phantom of Many Topics. If I use that term, it will most definitely come across as insulting to you. So maybe when we talk in private, I will say, look at what came to mind. What came to mind when you said you'd come back if they leave. Good luck to that. Again, Ricketts' family will stay there forever, bleed at the club to dry. I don't think they will stay for forever, and here's why. they are profit focused, and they're not gonna, even though they have added more people to their group, so the makeup of their group has changed. More people with more money have joined them, but I think they're still not going to spend out of pocket the entirety of how much they're supposed to spend from their out of pocket. I think they will borrow money. So at the moment, they find the slightest of spaces to make a huge gain. And believe me, the gain will be in billions, because then the stadium will be in place and the club will be, making more money from ticket sales due to the size and every other thing. I think the slightest opportunity they get, they sell the club because they profit focused. Again, here says Rudiger, Ken, ZX, and I agree on the teams. Yeah, again, let me touch that again. Let me ask you this question, Nick, since you're the part of the panel today. Now, should they emerge as the new owners of Chelsea Football Club? I am really concerned that the Muslim contingents at the club will be unsettled because they heard everything that's going on. And mind you, Chelsea supporters don't want them. 75% is a huge number. Fans, that is to a large number, don't want them. This whole thing. So the players will be hearing this, and even if the situation in the first place wouldn't be a big issue for the fans right now, it will be, because things become what they're not if you keep pushing for it. Now, most definitely, or let me say, there's a chance that they will be unsettled, and there's a chance they will look to leave the club if that happens. And the fact is, if they leave because of it, if they leave because let's say the Ricketts becomes the new owners of the club, and if the Muslim contingents at the club leave because of it, they're not just going to leave and shut up. They will talk. They will speak their mind, and they have a huge influence on Muslim Chelsea followers. Nick Blue, your thoughts on that? What do you think will happen if to our Muslim contingents should the Ricketts emerge as the new owners of the club?
Yeah, I can see, very bad things happening. Like with Rudiger, Kante, who else? Ziyech. We have quite a few players who are Muslim, and they were very religious with their faith. So if they do, I can see them wanting to leave if they take over. I wouldn't be surprised one bit if they want to leave the club. The only hope I have is Tuchel. Tuchel will talk to them, very sensibly. He knows, he will do whatever possible he can to keep them players. But I can easily see this happening, and that's when the thousands of fans who are not acting, not protesting, will realize, no, we're going to lose Kante, we're going to lose Rudiger. Then they might get to their heads by being too late. It definitely can happen. Yeah. If I was Rudiger, or Kante or anyone else, I would do the same. If I was a Muslim and then someone like that came to be my owner, my boss, I would leave straight away. I do know how these Muslims feel. I know what religious is. I'm Christian, but I do know their religion very well. So it can happen. Yeah.
Yeah, it's so it's important that we start looking beyond the thoughts that they're not going to be majority shareholders. They're not going to be the face of the whole thing. No, some people take their religion, their belief so seriously that the slightest of anything they see as a hate against them is a big issue, and some will not forgive you. So we must start looking beyond that. We must start looking how that could potentially affect our transfer plans in the future. How the players, that if they leave, they're not going to shut up. They are huge influence, and the Muslim leadership around the world understand the influence, the powers that is the influence that these players can wield, because they sometimes use them as outreach for peace. outreach for people to get even more educated. So that's important to them. So if should this happen, it's not just going to end with the Ricketts becoming the new owners of the club. So Frizzo says, just wait. When they become owners, they will increase ticket prices to 5-10%, and you fans will do nothing. You can protest all you want. They'll be going nowhere. That is the truth. And that, look at this. I'm sure they are well aware of this, the sizes of those that are against them and size of those that are not against them. And then I want to show you this. Where's that? Something Mikhail shared with me. It is very important. So now look at this. Just pay attention. Let's try and see if I can zoom out a bit. I read this and I was like, wow. Now read it. This gives them confidence that most of us know. So they probably already they know in advance that most of us aren't going anywhere, and most of the people that are season ticket holders won't stop. They will keep paying. This says Chicago Cubs MLB franchise. Chicago Cubs attendance. The first line here reads since 2002, Cubs attendance has ranked in the top 10 each season. It says this is despite consistently, strongly ticket prices growth and playing one of MLB's smaller ballparks. I hope that makes sense to you. They've increased the ticket prices consistently, and yet they have one of the they rank in the top 10 attendance there. So these guys understand how difficult it is for a supporter of a sport team to switch allegiance. They are well aware of that. So they're not even moved. I'm not sure if they're moved by the No to the Ricketts campaign on social media, or even the small protest at Stamford Bridge, because that was disappointing. But that's, by the way, my point being, if you're thinking they're going to run Chelsea differently, you're in for the biggest surprise of your life. And then he says the Cubs' regular season capacity has ranked among the top 5 MLB clubs in 8 of the last 9 seasons. Okay, so keep reading. So I want to say in 2007, 52% of paid attendance was attributed to season ticket holders. Wait list, and they still, even after that is increase of ticket prices, they have a wait list of over 87,000 people. Team limits the summer of season tickets are sold, allowing more fans to purchase individual seats. Pent-up demands may create opportunity to generate significant personal sale license and proceeds. Attendance has been consistently strong. Despite inconsistent on-field performance, a team to fans affinity. You go ahead.
When you finish. Yes.
Yeah, look, go ahead. I'm done, but my point is I'll let you come in. Go ahead.
Go on. Yeah, I just want to say...
My point... Look, go ahead. Go ahead, Nick.
Yeah, all right. I just want to say, when you're talking about these prices and everything, look, in the beginning, myself, I've been, I was a working man, like thousands of Chelsea supporters, thousands and thousands. We used to queue up all night to get a ticket, but the tickets were cheap. In my day, it was £1 when Ken Bates was there. So, and now it's bad enough the prices have gone up. The cheapest ticket now is £55 to go in the Matthew Harding or the Shed lower tier. If you want to go and sit down in the West End, it's £71. For me, this game today is costing me £83 because I had to buy the ticket from someone else.
Mm-hmm.
So imagine if they come in and they put the prices even more higher, they're going to take all the working people out of the stadium completely, and it won't be no atmosphere anymore. It's going to be just for rich people. And it's bad enough, even the season ticket prices are going silly next year. They're going really high. That's why I can't afford a season ticket. Otherwise, I will have one every year. So it's not just me; it's a lot of fans like me. It's going to affect. And so, imagine when if they take over, what's going to happen with us? We'll still be trying to go, of course, but it won't be easy. It just makes life more difficult for fans like me, who are
Yeah,
just
it
members.
does. Yeah, it does. So the fact still remains. Again, let me show this poll again. I think we need to do whatever we can. We need to keep fighting. That is through a peaceful campaign protest. So to make it clear to those at the helm of things, those representing us at the table in the selection process, we don't want this to happen, and this is the reason. And looking at this here again, it is scary. This alone is scary. That's most people say do nothing, and yeah, I'm sure the Ricketts are well aware that most people will not do anything because the fact is, I'm going to repeat myself again. I'm sounding like a broken record already. Switching loyalty from club to club isn't something that is done like this. And that's why we're seeing from this poll here that only 1.3% say they will do that. So the Ricketts probably know. They have experience already from what they did with the Cubs. They have experience already that most people won't leave the club because it's not easy to switch loyalty from one club to the other, except if you started supporting the club like a month ago or a few months ago or a year ago or so. But if you've been through, down ups and downs of, thick and thin with the club, it's not easy. The club becomes part of you, and you become part of the club. So, Nick, I hope you understand what we're looking at on the screen here. And if you're in the chart, I hope you understand what we're looking at on the screen here. And thank you so much to Mikael for sharing this, because I read it. I was like, what is this? We're in for the biggest shock of our life. And it was as if Declan knew exactly what he was saying. He says, these guys don't care about all these protests. And yes, they're proving they don't care.
No, of course they don't care.
No, they don't. It doesn't matter to them.
They don't care.
They see an opportunity to make money.
That's what.
And that's. Go ahead, Nick. You wanted to say something. Okay, I thought you wanted to say something, Nick, but I'll go ahead. My point is this: these guys don't care. The moment they take over, you can demonstrate how that is how you want every day during games. It won't move them. They see an opportunity to make money, and they're never going to give up. Because the fact remains, some sensible, that is people that really care about what the fans think, will look at it and say, okay, now these guys don't want us. A sensible person will say, let's just let them keep their stuff. We don't want that trouble. But these guys could care less how you feel. They could care less how many times you demonstrate. And at a point, because they're the new owners, they could arrange for the police to be at the stadium and not even in the possibly the surrounding, some measure in the surrounding areas. I don't know how the British law works. You will not be allowed to even protest because it becomes their property at some point. So we're in for the biggest surprises of our lives. Nick, you have anything else to say? Okay, looks like I've lost Nick here, but I'm going to keep reading.
Yeah, I'm here. Yeah,
okay.
I'm here. I was on mute. Yeah, look. Yeah, what you're saying is true. Inside the ground, they won't allow it. They can do that, but outside the ground, they can't stop nothing. So the fans will eventually come out in their thousands and protest outside the ground, but it's going to be too late. Like we keep saying, they didn't come out Saturday. They're not going to come out again unless these supporter groups, back us. We're waiting for them now to see what comes out this week. And if they're very strong against the Ricketts and they still have a chance, I'm sure they're going to organize a massive protest. But let's see what happens. That's the thing. We don't know till this is finished.
Yeah.
with the clubs, the fan groups.
Mm-hmm.
That will finish this week, Friday. Friday that finishes.
Mm-hmm.
So now, at the moment, they're talking with them. So
yeah,
by the end of the week, we should know the outcome from the supporters trust, the pitch owners, and all the other supporter groups we have.
yeah, because we must recognize this. The fact, here's the thing. This last one is the most surprising. Attendance has been consistently stronger despite inconsistent on-field performance. A testament to fans' affinity for the team. That's what matters to them. You are already a Chelsea fan before they come up. And like we've established, they're well aware of this year, of the size of people that will leave, and it won't mean much to them. It won't mean much to them. So they could care less what the fans think. Look at how badly their team are performing. And to them, and they sold their best players. And as long as the money is still coming in, they don't care. And at Chelsea, I think it's going to be worse. They will look at Chelsea and see this club has one of the best academies in the world. So why should we go into the transfer market? To an extent, that is good. But I think the academy alone cannot furnish Chelsea with, good enough players to be as strong as we've been in the past. Nick, your thoughts?
Yeah, of course. Yeah, we have a great academy. We have great youngsters to come in next season. Gallagher, Gilmore, Bolger. We have these players. That's not enough. If we wanted to compete and win the Premiership again, we're going to have to buy a couple, few players. Tuchel's going to need a few reinforcements. It's not just the young players. We can't do it with the young players. But like you said, these people won't care. All they care about is money. And I'm just hoping that everyone comes to their senses and realizes it. And at the end of the day, we're going to make such a big protest that they won't have a chance. But it's just me talking at the moment. I'm waiting to see, like I said, I keep saying I'm waiting to see what happens end of this week. See if we're going to do anything about it, or we're going to let them just come in, or give them the chance to come in, I should say. And I strongly think we should, and I strongly think we shouldn't give them any chance, any hope. But when they see fans, when they see just a couple of 200 fans turning up for that protest Saturday, they're probably laughing. They're laughing and going, "Oh, look, no one cares here. We can do what we want." That's what they're thinking right now.
Yeah. Yeah, I think I want to say thank you, and that is to declare, and for seeing this. Maybe he has read this before, but more importantly, I want to thank Mikhail, and I want to thank all those people that sent me DMs, making sure that I'm fine, because we started very late. Mikhail and Nick says, "Where are you? Send me link, coach." And Mikhail's one is very funny. He says, "Morning, brother. I hope all is well. Stream, but delayed today is." It appears a bit. We are wondering if you've been kidnapped by the, who. I'm not going to say it, but that's, by the way. I appreciate all the love, and that shows me how much I'm loved. And for this comment on the screen by Andy Crystal, they don't pay that kind of money to destroy the club. The bigger we become, the more happy the new owners will be. Again, that shows you that we all have what we're prioritizing. I think for Andy here, his priority is for the club to become even bigger. And again, Andy, I want to make some points clear to you. They're not going to destroy the club in terms of running it to the ground. No, the club will still be functioning and probably will still be winning games. But the fact is, they're not going to be, that is, their priority isn't going to be actually, if you ask me, for the club to, win the championship or that by spending more money. I don't know how else to phrase it, but you need to go look at what we have on the screen here. And you need to go research how they sold the best players for the Cubs and all that. And you need to go look at all the factors. So the truth is, the issues we have with them, goes beyond the racial, the racism role. It goes beyond the Islamophobia role. It goes beyond the way they treat their employees. It goes beyond everything we've heard. There's more to it, and this is a problem. If you're a season ticket holder, would you look at it? Just look at it. Just go read this thing. I will share the link in the chat, so maybe you can go read it yourself and learn more. And by the way, I'll come back to the title of this very article, so that you see how these guys are. They do know how to play dirty. They're business savvy, and they know politics too. So they're really playing us well. And for the past 3 days, they've done a pretty good job at getting us not to focus on their past behaviors, but to focus mainly on things they put out. And for 3 consecutive days, they've released one statement or the other and letting us know they're going to London. Do we need to know? No, we don't need to. But they've learned that whatever they say about them, that does not have anything to do about their past. Gets the content creators and some fans to start talking about them in a positive light. So that's a strategy for me. It's not just them coming to London alone, and it's been working because we've talked less about their past and how that could affect our club. Phantom, I want to say welcome to the panel today. How are you doing? And I want to get your thoughts on everything we've talked about already.
I've got 2 points, okay? Certain people are saying blah blah, how could you leave Chelsea, blah. Well, I don't have as much invested, but that's not the point. I want to point out an irony, okay? I'm actually more loyal to you than to the team of Chelsea, whereas opposed to someone like Stav is more loyal to Chelsea than someone like you. He's already pointed out conditions where he would leave your channel if you don't do this or that or whatever. Several times he has said that, but he says he's going to stay with Chelsea no matter what. So I, on the other hand, is the complete opposite. I said I might leave Chelsea, but I'm going to remain loyal to Coachella, my friend, and I'll come here as a rival fan. So I just wanted to point out the irony that, we all have different principles that we're going to stick by, okay, and that we will leave the team or the person if they don't do this or if they don't do that or if they did this or if they did that. I want to throw out a general question to the audience, okay? Maybe you're not offended by the fact that the Ricketts hate Muslims or Chinese people or whatever, but I don't know what ethnic background Stav was. What if it was his ethnic background? What if the new ownership, and I'm not saying in any way that the Ricketts are this, but what if the new ownership are former child molesters? Would you still stay with Chelsea then? At what point there must be something in everybody that there's a principle that will be hit that they will say, I will no longer support Chelsea, because I don't think that and other people shouldn't say, well, you're not true blue if you don't stay with Chelsea. Maybe it's just that they haven't offended your point yet. That's all I have to say on those.
Stav, I have to let you know, I'm not gonna add you. You cannot only come on when somebody says something and references your name. I'm not gonna add you right now, please. I'm sorry. My apologies if that offends you. I'm so sorry because this is gonna turn into a whole mess right now, and I don't want that to happen. Now, come into your comment. You have every right to deal with the situation however you want. That's you. And I'd like us to please try as much as we can to refrain from, calling names, calling any fan that decides they will stop supporting Chelsea, calling them names. That's not okay. We should stop that. I think right now, anybody that decides to leave Chelsea, stop supporting Chelsea, because the Ricketts, if eventually the Ricketts emerge as the new owners, they have a very strong reason. And Sasuke Uchiha himself, he said something here. Where is this comment? I hope I highlighted it. I'm going to find it and see what he says there. I think one of them, he says, where is it again? Let me say, is it this one? not all people are same staff. Some people are very emotional, some not talking on behalf of all others. With okay, that's not the one I'm looking for. There's one where he said something specifically about how he's, experienced racism. So to him, it's personal. To some people, it's personal. And some people who are Muslims, it's personal to them. To me, I have every reason to take this personally, to take it personal, because I've experienced racism myself in a very strong way, but it doesn't matter to me. I've decided I'm going to stay with my club. You decide you're going to leave. You're going to start supporting Fulham. But I'd say maybe you choose a bigger club. Maybe you do better with a bigger club, because Fulham, they're going to break your heart. But that's your choice. That is just me trying, So, and again, I'm going to say it, I didn't let Stav in because he cannot come on only when he wants to address something that he feels like was talked about him. And by the way, he says he isn't feeling well. Get better first. Join when you feel better. I don't want this stream to turn into a whole mess right now. No disrespect to you. But that's, by the way, Nick, what advice do you have to Chelsea fans who call a fan's name? Because the other day we read something on the screen. Somebody, one of the people in the chat referred to that is called. He said something that disrespected international fans by saying plastic fans or something like that. That's the way that he phrased it. But that brought up an important topic. We talked about it. Why we shouldn't be calling each other names, because it creates divisions amongst us.
Can I just jump in really quick?
Yeah.
My point is, we are all plastic in some way, shape, or form. Okay, I mean, Stav says I'm plastic, but he's plastic about you. I mean, if you don't do certain things, and I'm not picking on Stav on purpose, but I'm just saying everybody has a price. Everybody has a price or a principle that if they're violated, that they can say, I can no longer support this organization. And I'm not talking about Chelsea. I'm just talking about in general. I mean, there's certain things that, if your wife cheats on you, then you can say, I'm no longer going to stay in this marriage. Or some people say, if my wife cheats on me, I will still stay in this marriage. So, I mean, this principle of staying or not staying based upon some violated principle it's a universal thing. It's not just about Chelsea.
Yeah, man, we deal with this. So, Nick, your advice,
I agree in a way with Phantom. Look, everyone has their own choice. My choice, Stav's choice, is to support Chelsea Football Club. Doesn't matter who the owner is. But we have religious people, real Chelsea fans, real Chelsea fans, Muslims, different religions, and they're passionate. I'll see them, very passionate for the club. But they have their choice. If anyone wants to go and support someone else, it's their choice. I couldn't care less. For me, it's what I do, and I know I will always back the team and the badge. A good luck to Phantom. He wants to be a Fulham fan, but he'd be running back to Chelsea, not for long. It won't be too long when I see him wearing that blue again. So, it's crazy. You can't go with things like that. And it shows. Someone got really abused from Chelsea fans, really badly abused in his DM. On his DM, calling him a fuck this and that, or Muslims or whatever. But the guy still is a Chelsea fan. We can't do that. We can't go by religion. Chelsea fans are Chelsea fans, and we all for Chelsea, and we wear the blue of Chelsea. Doesn't matter what you are.
But can I ask you a question?
Wait a minute. Let me finish, Phantom. The sad thing is, we do have a racist. I keep saying, I don't care what Stav says, but we have a lot of racists in our fan base. That's why all the problems are. That's why we didn't get enough people at the protests, and that's what's going on. We can't.
I think, Nick, if you don't mind, I think it would be safer to put it this way. A lot of fans don't care if the Ricketts become the owner or not. I think it's safer to put it that way, just to be on the safer side, so you don't. Let's just not just generalize.
I'm
Go
saying
ahead.
the truth. I'm saying the truth. And you know, because I saw it, I experienced it in the past, and I experienced it last Saturday. So I have to say the truth.
Okay.
Yeah.
Can I ask you a question, Nick? Okay. I'm not saying that the Ricketts are this. I want to make it clear that I'm not accusing the Ricketts of this. But let's say a former child molester is buying Chelsea. Would you then still support Chelsea?
I would support the team. Yeah, but it will make me sick, of course. I will try everything like I'm trying now, but even more to make sure they won't be the owners. That won't happen.
But what if
Again,
what if a child molester did buy Chelsea and the thing goes through? Are you still a Chelsea fan? Because I'm just making a point that everybody has a price.
Phantom. If I can come in, let me say this.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, go.
Again, the whole thing, no matter how we spin it, no matter from what perspective we start to talk about it, it all comes down to the individual, how the individual deals with that sort of situation. Nick, for instance, says he will continue supporting Chelsea, but he will feel sick, and you will leave. So again, that's it. It doesn't change, even no matter how we phrase it, no matter how we put it, no matter how we try to spin it. It still comes down to the individual. And if you ask me, this case now we're talking about. I grew up with Muslims. I grew up in northern Nigeria before I came to the United States, and whenever I came. The fact is this: Muslims take their faith seriously. You know that. Right. They don't joke with it. So if I hear a Muslim say, well, if this happens, I'm going to stop supporting Chelsea, I'm not going to be surprised. I will not be surprised.
Can I answer Fantomy's question?
Yeah, I'm coming. I'll let you speak. So, which means you shouldn't be surprised to hear people say they leave. Some it could be down to their fate. The case of Sasuke Uchiha could be because he said in the chat here he's experienced racism. He's made a total donation of almost, I think, $40 plus today, trying to make sure I saw his points. That shows you probably it's something really personal to him. You get the point. So he's saying it in a way that that shouldn't be allowed to happen in the first place. Unfortunately, there's a possibility it will happen, but we have hopes. We have hopes that Roman wouldn't want anybody that would tarnish his image, anybody that has a past that goes against everything that defines Chelsea Football Club. And we have hopes that those that represent the club at the table where the selection process is facilitated will look at, we'll see what we're going on, must have heard our voices and say, this is a risk. But now we've realized that it is, to these guys, it is not really a problem for them. They could care less because they've learned from experience that people supporting sports teams have a very, very strong bond that ain't easy to do away with. So, Nick, you come in, you wanted to say something so that I can quickly go through the chat.
I want to answer Phantom what he was asking before about if a sexual molester comes in as an owner, what I would do. Well, let me tell you this. I've been back in the 70s, 80s, not so much 90s, but even in the 90s, but especially the 80s. I was young, and because I'm Cypriot, Greek Cypriot, born in Cyprus, but my color is brown. It's not white, you know. So a lot of people, when I used to go to Chelsea when I was young, and a lot of English fans used to mistake me for a Pakistani mostly, and call me silly names, racial names. I had it all, you know. But I still kept going because I love that club. I used to cry for that club. You asked my poor mother what she had to do. One day she had to go to the police station and pay the fine to get me out of there because I was running on the pitch when I was 16 years old, going after the referee. Going after a certain player, a Blackpool player, because he nearly broke Ian Britton's leg, one of our great Scottish legends. You all know about him. It was in the 80s, 70s. And I was, that's on camera, that's on YouTube if you want to look it up and find it. You can see me there when I was young. And, I had abuse. I had everything. But in the end, I won them people over. Look, you can't win them completely. I'm just trying to say I lived with these racist fans we had. I had to, because I loved the club and I didn't care. And in those days, there wasn't many black or foreign fans like myself. We were a few, very few. It was all English and mostly National Front people supporting Chelsea, or they're supposed to, but there wasn't real fans. They were there for the fighting for trouble. That's why Chelsea was known as a hooligan club, one of the most notorious hooligans in the league. And we were, but I wasn't a part of that. I was a fan, which I still am, and I always will be. So it doesn't matter what you say, who the owner is. It can be, I don't care, whatever he's done in the past, whatever he's doing. Of course, I care, but it doesn't stop me from supporting my team. That's the main thing for me. Stamford Bridge is sacred for me. It's like my second home. It always has been, always will be. That's what I want to say.
I think, again, I'm going to quickly, after, I'm going to take some comments and then quickly run the tool to pick the second contestant. We picked the first contestant yesterday, and it was TC. And today we're going to pick another contestant, and we'll continue picking one contestant per day until we'll have 8 contestants, and then we'll fix the date for the quarter. We'll fix the date for each for quarterfinals shows. And the fact is, let me explain again. The show, it's called the Roman Abramovich was a tribute contest where we have 8 contestants. We have quarterfinals, we have semifinals, and then we have finals, and then the winner will take $150. And to participate, you must be on camera, but you have right to switch your spot to someone else who is able to show their face on camera, because we look at the panel will be looking at the performance, that is expression of the person, why they present their tribute to Roman Abramovich, and let it be known to you. That means if you're going to win it, you will have 4 tributes written, of one for the quarterfinals, one for the semifinals, 3, and one for the finals. So I think you have to be sure you're ready to participate. So I'm going to go through the chat again. Pierre says here, Chelsea managed to win the FA Cup, Cup Winners' Cup, and the Super Cup during the Bates era. And also he says, and also qualify for the Champions League. Those things aren't the issue. For me personally, the trophies, whether we'd still win trophies under the Ricketts family should they emerge as the new owners of the club, isn't the issue for me. Morality comes first for me. And again, the treatment of the employees also follows, and some other factors. It's not really about trophy to me. Morality trumps trophy for me. Trophies are important, but the behavior, the past is something I'm really concerned about, and how those factors will affect the club's reputation, Roman Abramovich's reputation, and everything that the club stands for. Should these guys emerge, the owners of the club? And again, if you ask the question, are there chances that they do better? Are there chances that is it possible that they've changed? Of course, there's the possibility that they've changed, that there are different people. Of course, there are chances that they do even better than Roman Abramovich should they emerge, the owners of Chelsea Football Club. But the fact is, based on what we know, we have every right to dread the possibility of them becoming Chelsea Football Club new owners. But that's, by the way, here that is Phantom. He's on the panel, so I'm not going to read his comments. The point is, racism is a society's issue, not football. Yes, exactly. It's a societal issue, not football. But we can try the best we can to root it out of football, which isn't possible. It is a difficult task, but we can, deal with it so that it's not. So it's not that much in football. Never saw the Mayor's family or Bates or even Roman as the club. Yep, that's the truth. The club remains the club. The owner remains the owner. And no matter the case, or maybe I am a Chelsea fan, and there's Chelsea before Ricketts family. They can do what they love, America, but not in London. Enough of attacking these people. We need new owners. Okay, again, that's your point. I was thinking I was going to. Kuchila, my point is that they cannot just strip the club's assets and destroy. No, nobody's saying that. My concern is way beyond what they would do to the club. My concern, it's mainly the image of the club, how they treat the employees, their behavior. I've said that like a million times here now, and I want to talk about that again. Kuchila Fraser said I would. Okay, you're being rather selective. I'm not being selective here. As the host, I'm trying as much as I can to avoid frictions, to avoid any sort of thing that will potentially lead to conflict or here or people, calling people names. And I will do whatever I can to make sure that doesn't happen. And I know you, staff. I've known you well enough to know when you're ready to turn this. That is to be throwing punches if possible. So. And I'll do whatever I can to make sure that stops. That doesn't mean I don't like it. That doesn't mean I'm selective. I'm just trying the best I can for people to enjoy the show in peace and not witness any combative conversation here, if you want to put it that way. Phantom followed Pulisic to Chelsea from Dortmund and said the other week he would walk out. Again, that's him. That doesn't move me in any way. So I want to quickly catch up with the comment and come back to the panel. I said, well, Stav, they better make it faster before it's too late. And I want to say thank you for the Queen of the House. I think I saw the other Queen today. I saw TC in the house. Always good to see you both in the house, trying to, making sure that things are working smoothly. Hopefully not to say they are all pulling out. I hope that's not the case. Let me see. Again, if you have any questions, I have a question for Chelsea fans who all don't want the Ricketts, but if they manage to get Chelsea and they do the right thing, the buyers build the stadium, invest in the youth, will you be happy? This is a difficult one, but I'm going to let you know this. I believe in second chances, but I hope it doesn't happen. I strongly do believe in second chances because we're humans after all. And let me know if you're in the chat if you're perfect. I'm not perfect. I have my own problems. I will never say I'm perfect, and I know none of us here is perfect. The fact is, if this happens, but I doubt it will happen, the way they run the Cubs, there are already areas where you could argue definitely that sort of issue will eventually materialize at Chelsea. And again, some people are not going to be able to look beyond the fact that they that is their the Islamophobia role, the racism role. Some people are not going to be able to just simply look beyond that. I will take it if they come and do good. The team starts performing and they don't do those things that scares the heck out of us. Fine, but the fact is, it's not that simple. The past remains. The past is like a shadow to you. Whenever the sun shines at you, you have a shadow somewhere around. So that's something that you can easily do away with or sweep under the rug. Your thoughts on this comment on the screen by Tobago, Nick Blue?
Yeah. Let me see that again. Hold up. I have a question for all Chelsea fans. We don't want the Ricketts, but if they manage to get Chelsea, as they do, will they do the right things? Yeah.
Like if they do the right things, like he's saying, they manage to get Chelsea and do the right thing. They buy players, build the stadium, and invest in the youth. Will you be happy?
Yeah. Look, I'll be happy. They say they're going to, the first thing they're going to do, and they're not just saying the first thing, they're saying straight away they will start rebuilding Stamford Bridge, which is very important because we need to get it to a 60,000 capacity at least. That's very important for me. I'll be happy for them to do that. Yeah, and I'll be happy for them to buy players. That I'll be happy for them to, put money into the club, into the women's team, into the academy, which they will do at the beginning. We keep saying, we said it a million times. The first maybe 3-4 years, we're going to see the good things being done. But I'm talking about after. Will they carry on, or will they just, take the money and run like they've done in America? That's what the problem is. I don't want to take that chance to see my team going back to the old days, being a mid-table or relegation team. That's what is going to happen. That's what I'm worried about. Yeah.
Yeah, but here's another good comment from Mikhail regarding what we read. This is the story of U.S. sports franchise results. Don't matter. They have one or two teams per city. They get supported no matter how they play. There's no relegation, no need to win trophies. Again, you make a huge point, which gives me hope because our case is different a bit, but still it is still concerning that they don't really care how the team performs and what the people do. I think it makes sense, but then again, it is a concern on its own. Tobago says the Ricketts family don't invest in the team. They increase ticket sales. They don't want people with disabilities in the stadium. I've heard that story too, but I really want to confirm that, but it sounds like it is true because they haven't come out and denied the reports. I'm sure they've heard about it. Being plastic again, let's just move ahead from that one. Tati likes, I'd love to go more games, but at 50 a game and away games are harder to get now, especially now it's not discounted. Coach, travel out of London. I think I get your point there. Big Up says, he says, how many football teams does London area have by comparison? I think they have more. I don't live there, but I know Fulham is a London club, Crystal Palace, Arsenal, Tottenham, Chelsea.
Brentford.
There are even more. 5, you say?
No, I said Brentford is London
It's a London
too,
club.
right?
Yeah. So there's quite a few.
We have a coach. We have so
Yes.
many London clubs. Not only in the Premiership, don't forget, in every league, every single league. We have a lot of...
Chelsea are just the most those in the first tier are just the most prominent. So most people don't look beyond those teams.
Yeah. So we have Chelsea, Tottenham, Arsenal, West Ham, QPR. They're in they used to be a Premiership team as well. Brentford, like you said, Fulham. We have a Phantoms team, Fulham FC, who are probably coming back up.
Oh, you're calling it Phantoms team already?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
They're gonna win the championship, so they'll be back with us. So it'd be nice to beat them home and away, like we always do.
Yep, I forgot QPR. I forgot,
yeah, QPR, another very old club, very small ground, smaller fan base, but they're still a major club. Always have been. But Chelsea is is the bigger. We are the biggest right now. You can say Arsenal, Tottenham in the past, yes, but Chelsea we've taken over. We've won the Champions League, we've won the World Club Cup. We are world champions, and Arsenal or Tottenham would never say that in their lifetime. Yeah.
So let me quickly go through the chat again. And Pierre, thank you very much for providing this list for us. The list of London clubs include Chelsea Sports, Arsenal, Crystal Palace, West Ham, Brentford, Fulham, QPR, Charlton, Leyton Orient, and I haven't heard about that one before. AFC Wimbledon, I've heard Burnett, Millwall, and Watford. Oh, okay, Watford just outside of London. Okay, thank you. That's good information there from Pierre. He hasn't had the chance to be on the panel with us of late, but I appreciate his inputs in the chat and helping to keep the house clean and also contribute great information as such, educating us on things we don't know That's important. Thank you, Pierre. I appreciate that. And Phantom, you think that is something to boast about? I think this is a fight regarding you deciding you support Phantom. And Phantom, I have an advice for you. Maybe go for a bigger club so that we can be rivals and still fight a little bit every now and then. That would be
I
good.
mean, no, I don't like Arsenal's ownership any more than I would like the Ricketts. Tottenham, it's not my part of town. I stayed in Hammersmith, and that's my loyalty. I mean, if I had known ahead of time, maybe I would have picked QPR because actually they were closer to my hotel than either Fulham or Chelsea. But since Chelsea played in Fulham, I said, well, that's really a Fulham team, so I can choose Chelsea. I know that, and that's not in trying to insult anybody, but Chelsea really is a Fulham team.
Understood. So quickly, let me go through the chat again. This is I hope that happens. That will do us a lot of good. We've suffered enough this period. And says a hello all. And this is Siddharth Shahani. I think this is the first time I'm seeing you here. Please, if you haven't, make sure to like the video so that it can be pushed to more people who are interested. And also don't forget to subscribe if you haven't. And the same goes to everybody who's watching. Please, if you haven't, do smash the like button. And also subscribe to the channel if you haven't. That will go a long way. And stop like to call the name of Jesus. Jesus, what do you think the extra billion is for? Face or not, do you think the other shareholders will allow them to destroy them? That's not my point. I never said anything about destroying the club. Listen, let me try and rephrase what I said before again. We have Muslim contingents at the club, and we've talked about this enough that the fact is they have heard, they're aware of the pushback from the fan base. They're now well aware of the comments made, against Muslim people. And should they decide to leave the club, if eventually the Ricketts emerge as the new owners of the club, they're not just going to leave and shut up. They will tell you, this is the reason why I leave. And common sense is that these guys are no different from celebrities. They are celebrities, and they even command more followers than some global. They command global followership than some celebrities, and they wield great influence globally. And Islamic leaders understand how powerful they are. They use them to reach out to their youth, to get more education, to do better in life, to be more peaceful. So should they come out and say something, that creates a serious problem for Chelsea. So we must start looking beyond the fact they're not going to be major shareholders. It's been established. They are the face of the consortium, whether they are minority or not. They are the face of that consortium, whether you like it or not. Even after the slight tweak in the name, it still has the Ricketts Family Investment Group. What was that? They renamed it to something, but it still has Ricketts in the name. So we must start a reason to look beyond. No, they're not gonna. Nobody says they're gonna destroy the club. They will not do that. The issue is bigger than that. And it should the Muslim contingents at the club leave and then make statements that this is why we leave, you'd find it difficult to sign Muslim players. If that doesn't let this sink in. And like I've established before, I grew up in northern Nigeria before I even came to America. I have Muslim friends I've been to mosques too, we're that close. And how they take their religion, their belief seriously. You get my point now, Nick. Do you have anything to add to this one? I want to go through this thing quickly.
Yeah, we talked about it how many times about this. Yeah, we're not saying they're going to come and destroy the club. They're going to rebuild the club when they come. We're talking
exactly.
They're going to rebuild it and they're going to invest in it. We're going to carry on winning trophies in the beginning. I'm talking about after 4 or 5 years. Where will we be? Where we will be challenging on the top, or they're going to keep buying players, they're going to invest, or they're going to take out the money like they do, with the baseball teams, whatever. That's all we know. That's what I'm worried about. I don't want to see Chelsea, like I said a million times, struggling to survive or get relegated. Yeah, we've been through all that. We don't want it again. We don't want that. But, if that happens, I'll still be there, like a lot of fans will. But I'll tell you this, there won't be 40,000 capacity or 60,000 if that happens, because a lot of them won't come, like they did in the old days. I remember crowds of 9,000, 10,000 at Stamford Bridge. I used to go and I experienced everything. When we had a 25,000 crowd, staff remembers in the 80s, we used to, think it was packed because 25,000 seemed a lot compared to 9 or 10,000. But I'll tell you this: if this happens, if they take over, it's going to be the ruin of Chelsea. We won't go in existence, but we won't be at the top. We're going to be a mid-table. Southampton, even Crystal Palace. We'll be like Crystal Palace. One day, one season in the middle, and one struggling to stay up. We don't need that. That's what we.
And
we
again,
don't
stop, please. Let me appeal to you. Stop pulling words out or start twisting things I said. I never said they would destroy the club. I just mentioned to you specifically, and I was specific. My words were chosen carefully. Each word I said was chosen carefully so that you don't misinterpret me. And again, I never said they would destroy the club. I just made clear, and that is just one of the issues because I like to think beyond the moment. And if we should start thinking beyond the moment, we should know the issue is just bigger than their behavior. There are all the things that will follow. And it's not easy. It's not something that you can easily sweep under the rug. And I want to read this comment here. It is a very, very brilliant comment by my friend and brother, Ankit from Almighty Blues FC. He says, I wouldn't support the Ricketts, but they don't at the final whole of Chelsea FC. Thank you very much. For me, at this point, it is an organization which has 117 years of history. And I have literally followed them for many reasons over the last 20 years. Brilliant. And that is how you see it. And Ankit, I am quite sure you're not going to call any person a plastic fan because they said, I want to leave the club if this happens for some personal reasons. And I could have said, you know what, I'm going to stop supporting Chelsea if this happens. But no, because I've experienced racism firsthand, and not on multiple occasions. But I think I see it the way you see it. But some people, if they decide they want to leave for religious reasons, that is okay. That's the way they decide to deal with the situation. If somebody wanted to leave because they've experienced racism firsthand, that is okay too. That's the way they decide to deal with the situation. You don't judge anybody because of that. But the fact that, we still continue supporting Chelsea doesn't mean we should stop letting our voices heard that we don't want this at our club. I get your point. So thank you very much. And if you haven't, please go check out Almighty Blues FC, great channel. But again, I can control others. No to Ricketts. Thank you. You cannot control others, my brother. That's the thing. Yes, Phantom sleeping. I think he's gone. Probably has something else to do. I made my point. 1974, the invasion of Cyprus. My grandmother. Yes, Stab, you've talked about it before, and sorry to hear about the loss of your mother. Never okay for anybody to lose their life in any shape or form. I clearly stated I would still support. Yeah, we know that. Yes, exactly, and that's you. That's how you want to deal with it. My point is that we just have to respect others who've decided to deal with this situation differently. Again, let me see if I have anything here. We'll all have freedom of choices, but for me, I will. Thank you. That's you. You will all have freedom of choices, but for you, you will always support Chelsea. Good. That's brilliant. And for me also, I will always support Chelsea. Does that mean I like the Ricketts? No. And I don't want them to become new owners of Chelsea Football Club. Does that mean that we emerge the new owners? That's a possibility, but I still have hopes, and I don't think it will happen. There's no need to get personal. Exactly. Don't get personal with examples. Just in my opinion, respect to all, though. big up Chelsea perspective. Yes, we don't have to get personal with it. That's when it turns into, well, people start disrespecting each other. So I'm going to highlight some comments here and pick the contestant of the day. Let's hit the like buttons. Please do, and sub to the channel if you haven't. Don't play a moral card with me. An invasion is incited by the US and the CIA. Okay, Stab, I get your point. Thank you very much. Yeah, when a person experiences a racism, they have the right to choose, because it's not great feeling. It's never a great feeling for somebody to experience a racism. If you haven't experienced it yourself, you will never understand. So don't, get personal for yourself, but don't see others' choices to leave the club should this happen, as because they're not really true fans. That's up to you. The way Ricketts are so hungry for this club worries me. It worries all of us. They're so bent on making sure they become the new owners, and they've strengthened, you could say, financially. The group has become even bigger. They've added more people. Yeah, Stav. Chelsea perspective is not a show where Stav can always come because he wants to clear something that anybody said. If you take some things personally, if you let people addressing things, you see, I said it here before and you laughed. The truth is, you only came on to the show yesterday because you wanted to address something that people said about John Terry, and that's not okay. No, it's not. You don't own the show. We own the show. Everybody in the chat owns the show. So it's not about what staff wants and what staff wants to address. It shouldn't be like that. And you literally on the show, on the panel, spoke to me like I'm your wife or your girlfriend. If I don't allow you to address the John Terry comment, this relationship is over. That was insulting to me, but I took it with a pinch of salt, and I allowed you to do that. And today, again, you tried to come on because Phantom said something. Only that. How is that possible? Do you think everybody will allow you to do that? And I think I'm fed up with it, Stav. So you do whatever you want, but please stop disrespecting others because of their decision. I'm sure nobody does that to you. And if that's how you see it, that's up to you. Thank you. Me too, Courtney. I think we're all in the same boat. Yeah, he's just used that as an example. Again, you read meaning into it as you want. Hedge funds is responsible for Roman's money in the West, receiving payments and paying salaries. Well, however, his account was frozen, as reported by Bloomberg. $6 billion. That is half of his net worth. Thank you for providing that information. Just Viola, out of all the four, it's just the Ricketts pushing. I think you could argue the reason they're more vocal is the one that they have, because they have a pushback, the witness and the pushback from the fan base. They're seeing the No to Ricketts campaign, so they have to, somewhere or the other, try to push back against those things, try to get people to see them, from a positive perspective. So without that, it will get worse. So, and they've succeeded in distracting us all. We talk more of how they want to build the stadium and the 8-point pledge and all that, and less of their past. New reports claim he's seeking a $1 million loan from his Hollywood friends to pay his staff. I don't know about that. The owner of hedge funds who are in charge of managing Roman's money, Ken Griffin, is one of those backing the Ricketts bid and was among their party to meet key CRC figures yesterday. Wow, that is such a revelation, which brings to mind what somebody said here yesterday. There's a chance that Roman himself may want the Ricketts to become the new owners of the club. That's a possibility, but I'll come back to that. Let me just highlight that comment because it's very important. Abramovich is a very important partner for them. Some times ago, I spoke about the possibility of Roman trying to do something behind the scenes. That's a possibility because he's a smart guy, something that makes sure things are done the way he wants. So that could be a possibility. Hello, everyone. Toyin the Gold. And please, if you haven't, make sure to subscribe. You're really driving. The spelling says that. Please subscribe to the channel if you haven't, and also hit the like button so that we can reach more people. Yes, right, Courtney. I wonder if they are worried they won't get it, or they're very confident they will. Either of the two is a possibility. And just Viola, time for Chelsea to be out of the media with all the negative things. If this Ricketts takeover, it will be worse. Yeah, in so many ways, a lot of things will go wrong. Big up everyone. Big up my brother Eric Blue. I hope you're doing well. And in Pigeon, I say, I hope say that things stay fine with you. I'd like to have you on the show someday whenever you have time. And this is Courtney again. I'll probably get worse if they do. And Sasuke, please, you don't have to be donating all the time to make your points hard, because I'll go get through the chats anyway. How are Ricketts still in conversation? I will never know. You and I, we can never know. So there's a possibility that Roman may want them, but we've talked about it here. There's a chance that somebody tells them you have a chance to win, so don't go anywhere. If they are in this, if they are this desperate about money, imagine what they do to our club. The only hope I have, I'm not really concerned because they're not going to be the major shareholders. I am concerned of how the Muslim contingents at our club will feel. I'm concerned from the moral aspect of things, not really of how they will run the club, because we've established that they are not going to be major shareholders. This is again a jab at Nick. Nick, stop the over-the-top racist comments. The large majority of CFC, Nick has every right to express himself, to say whatever he wants to say, and you have every right to respond like the way you did. Let me see. Ricketts family want to fix Stamford Bridge, yes, but they said it might take 5 years, and they will do like a Liverpool did, increase capacity from 40,000 to 30K. Is it increase or decrease? I'm not sure. I'm a bit confused here because the latter numbers are kind of smaller. So I don't think you mean increase. If that's the case, let me know. And that won't happen because it's hard to fix. Yep. Quickly, let me just catch up with the chat. I don't think there's anything that's I should talk about here. Pierre says Todd Boehly has stated he wants Tuchel to be at the club for a long time. That's a good one. That hits the nerve for me. I like that one. And let me see here. Anything else? Exactly, coach. I understand why people would stay with the club, but people need to understand why people would leave also. It goes both ways. Everyone has their own principles that they follow. Be respectful to each other's decision. Yeah, and again, Sasuke, I want to thank you for all your support. You could just type your messages like this and I will read them. You don't have to keep donating to the channel. Believe me, I will take it, but I'd rather you do less because yeah, money, you don't grow money on trees. I know that. Again, let me see. Staff, stop pretending you're smarter than a journalist when they work on this every day if it is their job. And again, Viola, help. Okay, I think I'm all caught up here. Look, let's just see what you have to type. We're going to pick the second contestant today. Just type, what's it again? What did we use? Okay, we could use this. Roman Abramovich tribute. So please type it as exactly as you see it there. Tribute. Let me see. So we'll pick another contestant today. There you go. You have it. Roman Abramovich tribute. I'll wait for you to type it so we can pick another contestant for the day. While waiting for those in the chat to type in that so that they participate in the selection process to get the chance to win the $150. Type Roman Abramovich tribute in the chat so we can do the selection and pick the contestant for the day. Let me see again.
Coach, 1 minute, coach.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I didn't hear about it. I wasn't here yesterday when you were doing this. So what is it about?
It is a hashtag. You say something. Say what you say again.
Yeah, I said I wasn't here
So,
yesterday when you done this Roman Abramovich thing.
okay, the tribute is it's more like a competition. We're going to start with 8 participants. There will be quarterfinals, semifinals, and then the finals. And for anyone to participate in the contest, you must be on camera. You write a tribute to Roman Abramovich, and the fans in people in the chat will vote. After 2 people, that's from the quarterfinals. 2 people in the chat will vote. I'll release the rules, and then we'll pick the winners from the quarterfinals, and then we'll pick winners from the semifinals, and then in the finals, the winner will get $150.
So I have to. Should I go and put my hashtag now?
Yeah, you could go. Yeah, hashtag Roman Abramovich tribute. Yeah, before I do the selection for the day.
All right, I'll see you in a minute. Let me do that.
All right, no problem. And here, Olupo says history has also shown that Roman sells his prized possessions to close friends or associates or in return for a favor. Wow, that's deep. Ola, I think you ought to have a private conversation. I think that's becoming. I'm even scared with your comments, thinking maybe maybe do a show on why it's looking more likely that the Ricketts could possibly emerge the new owners of Chelsea Football Club. I think, and you've established that he has a relationship with Ken Griffin. So there's a possibility that could happen. And staff said it here yesterday. There's a chance that Roman would want the Ricketts to become the new owners. But I think Roman is sensible enough and is smart enough to know when not to do anything that will, make the fans go start talking. Say in the future that blame him for that is to have sold us to somebody that has such a bad history. I don't think he would want that to happen. So if you are in the chat, type in a Roman Abramovich tribute. So we pick the contestant for the day and then add it to the number. And after today, we have to pick 6 more contestants. And the final will be after the completion of the sale of the club, so that so that everybody can join us and enjoy the tribute. And hopefully we'll get some good write-up there and some good presenters to participate. Okay, Nick has added a Roman Abramovich tribute. I think somebody misspelled it before. So I'm going to start collecting. And this is why the Ricketts. Okay, done for you. Okay, this is it. Start collecting. We just have 3 people, and I'm going to run it like that. Back again, I'm going to draw it one more time. Okay, 3 people I'm going to draw. So Tobago has emerged as a contestant for today. And Tobago, you have to be on camera. You know that. Or if you cannot, if you feel like you can't do it, you have every right, even for any reason, to give your slot to somebody you trust to help you win the contest. That's up to you. It's your choice. And yes, congratulations, Tobago. You have a chance to win $150. And be mindful, you start to get to the final and win it, which means you have to write 3 different tributes. You cannot use the first one, the one you use for the quarterfinals, for the semifinals. You cannot use one tribute more than once. So probably you have to write 3 if you're gonna make it to the final and win it. 1 for the quarterfinals, 1 for the semifinals, and 1 for the finals. You have to write 3 powerful tributes to emerge the winner. And tomorrow we'll do another pick. Again, I think pretty much what we have covered today. And I want to say thank you to Fraser. You don't have to do this always, brother, but I appreciate it. That means a lot to me. And if you're in the chat, let us know if you have any questions so that we can address it. If not, we'll call it a day in a bit. I said at the start of the show today, I was playing devil's advocate. I understand, Steve. I know you quite well, and I don't want to. I never wanted the fight to start. That was why I won't let you in, Ben, because before you come back and try to get in, I knew immediately you were pissed. Tobago, don't forget your friends when you win that money, quite a lot of money, he has to share that to some people. So if you're in the chat, let us know if you have any questions that you'd like us to address. If not, we will call it a day. It's been a great show so far, and I will on Twitter be release the rules for the game and what you need to do to participate. Nick, any final thoughts from you?
Final thoughts. I think I want to talk about the game because I'll be there tonight. A massive game and a chance to forget about the Ricketts and all the negative talk, because I'm really too much politics is ruining the way we can support our team. So enough of that. Like Tuchel does, ignore the media, ignore everyone, and we're playing football here. Like Tuchel keeps saying, he doesn't get distracted by all this rubbish, and so we shouldn't either. I want the crowd to be up for it tonight. I'm sure they will be, but it's a massive game. And, it'd be nice to hear Stamford Bridge loud again, because I haven't heard it, especially after Saturday. That very bad performance, bad from Tuchel, bad from the crowd. Everything was bad. And that all comes from the problem with the Ricketts and the small protests we had. That's what made that. That's why we lost, and I believe that's the main reason we lost. It wasn't from the players. It's what's going on with our club. So let's hope we do the job tonight, because it won't be easy. It's gonna be massive.
Thank you very much, Nick. It's been brilliant having you on the panel. And again, if you're in the chat, I want to say thank you to those in the chat. Thank you for the Queens of the House, Just Viola and TC. You guys, you both have been brilliant in making sure things go smoothly in the chat. And Tobago, and also Frizz, and we had Pierre in the chat. Stav also, thank you very much. Frizz, thank you very much. We'll have other people here who contributed one way or the other. And for Sasuke Uchiha, thank you very much for all the donations. I mean, again, I can't thank you enough. And again, usually you're the first here, but for some reason you've been late, but I understand that you have to work and you have other priorities. Sorry, you're saying something? And I want to say thank you to Steve, Chelsea, to everybody else that's been a part of this great conversation. And I want to say I hope to see you guys during the pregame show, which starts 1 hour before before kickoff and ends around 10 minutes before kickoff. I really would like to see you guys for today's pregame show before the Real Madrid Champions League game. You were saying something, Nick?
Coach,
yes.
What time you coming on before the 1 hour before the game, you said?
Yeah, every Chelsea game, the pregame show starts 1 hour before kickoff and ends 10 minutes before kickoff. We discuss what we do.
I will join you live from Stamford Bridge 1 hour before the game.
Oh, brilliant.
So brilliant. That would be crowd.
Yeah, that would be great. Probably, I think probably we'll see you show us the lineup. So I appreciate that, Nick. Thank you very much. And I cannot thank you enough. And with that, we've come to the end of today's Blue Morning Show. Yeah. And I hope to see everyone during the pregame show and also tomorrow for another pregame show. With that, I say God bless us all. See you all during the pregame show, and bye.